The version of Minecraft that a lot of people grew up playing, the Legacy Console Edition, just had its entire source code leaked out to the community. And for those of you who remember when the same thing happened with GTA 5, that essentially means that with the right software, you can theoretically run the 1.0 version of Minecraft PS3 Edition and a bunch of other editions for completely free on your computer. Now, obviously, the elephant in the room is that this is 100% piracy. They are quite literally ripping the raw code written by Notch, Mojang, and 4J Studios. So distributing this code online could very easily get you flagged. And I do very much see Microsoft doing something about this pretty soon. So I would highly advise against going to your computer and trying to get this running yourself. However, just taking a look at instances in the past where this exact same thing has happened with other games, we could potentially see what path this leak could end up taking. One of the very next things that's pretty much guaranteed to happen is Microsoft just takes all of this down and demands that people stop distributing the code. Microsoft, much like Nintendo, is super protective with their IPs, so this will likely roll out within a couple of days. So to actually sum it up, no one should download or distribute the source code in any way, shape, or form, because it literally contains code that was written by the developers. And legally speaking, those things are pretty clean cut, along with it just being generally scummy to reuse another person's code without permission. It's just flat out piracy. But to go even further, I can demonstrate just how harmful distributing this leak would be to actual preservation projects that are out there genuinely trying to decompile all the data and rebuild it from scratch. Enter SM64 Co-op DX, a project that is completely free for anyone to download, which allows you to play Super Mario 64 on your PC with multiplayer support along with mods, and widescreen. Why has this not been nuked into the ground yet? Well, because the creators of the game didn't simply copy-paste the code directly from Nintendo. They painstakingly decompiled it from the original version bit by bit, and then added a whole bunch of quality of life features on top of that. But the main catch here is that in order to actually play the game, you would need a ROM of Mario 64, which you have to acquire yourself legally. So they're technically not distributing any of Nintendo's assets. Therefore, the mod stays active. It's actually the same sort of legal gray area that allows emulation to exist. In 1999, a company named Connectix released the Virtual Game Station, which allowed users on Mac and Windows to play PlayStation 1 games. Sony, of course, would later sue Connectix, claiming that they infringed on their property by making a copy of the BIOS file used in their console, which is basically the file that tells the console, oh, you're a PS1 now, run PS1 game please. But as it turned out, Connectix had actually reverse engineered the file from scratch, and didn't directly copy any of Sony's original code. So they weren't technically stealing anything. Or in layman's terms, since every line of code was completely original and written by Connectix, it didn't really matter that it did the same thing as the PS1 file. It's still not Sony's written code. And since you would still need to purchase the games legally, all the Virtual Game Station did was provide customers with a brand new way to play the games they had already owned. So there was really no legal grounding for Sony to sue, since companies aren't allowed to have monopolies over which machines are able to run their software. So if you owned a copy of Mario 64 that you bought legally, and then you use an emulator that allows you to play it on your computer, you're not really doing anything illegal so long as the emulator doesn't use a single line of copied code. All you're really doing is giving yourself another way to use the product you already legally own. It was actually so hard for Sony to win the lawsuit against Connectix that they ultimately didn't win, and they ended up having to buy the rights to the Virtual Game Station so they can very quietly shoot it into the sun. However, I wouldn't advise doing this on more modern consoles like the Switch or newer PlayStations, because your system can be remotely bricked and your account can get banned if you so much as attempt it. But on older consoles, it's pretty much fair game most of the time as long as you legally own the games. So with all that being said, how does this relate to the Minecraft Legacy Edition leak? leak? Well, as we've established, distributing code that has been straight up ripped from the original game is obviously copyrighted, but it actually goes even deeper than that. Anyone who has so much as viewed the content is now unable to work on any projects that try to recreate it from scratch, because now you literally know too much. You've seen how it secretly works behind the scenes, so any code you try to write would be too similar to the original. You would have knowledge that is essentially tainted. So the optimal route that I think we should all take instead in order for us to genuinely be able to preserve Minecraft Legacy Edition is to wholeheartedly support projects like Legacy 4J for Java, a mod that literally re-implements every single feature from Console Edition. They even have all the tutorial worlds and the new features from the current Minecraft updates. But best of all, it's all created 100% squeaky clean. It's literally just a mod for Java Edition made entirely from scratch, which, by the way, you have to own a legal copy of Minecraft to be able to download the mod. So if I or any of you really want to relive the OG console feel, then we could just download this amazing mod and hook up a controller, which is also supported, along with multiplayer and split screen support right out of the box. So in order to actually preserve the memory of this discontinued version of the game, we have to do it by supporting projects like Legacy 4J that focus on doing things the clean way, with no stolen code involved. And although it may be kinda cool that we can see the original code the way Notch and the rest of the devs typed it, it's also just not worth it in the end. Microsoft, within a couple days maximum, is gonna take it all down, and it's entirely within their rights to do so. They own the code fair and square, and that's just how it is. So the best possible thing we as a community can do is to give creators like these the support that they definitely deserve, so we can truly keep these games alive, but we'll be doing it the right way. And also, just avoid downloading anything in these leaks like the plague. But anyway, I love every single one of you with all my heart. Thank you so much for watching, and subscribe for more updates.